Hi all, today we are creating motion graphics. GIFs in Adobe Photoshop involves several steps. Below is a step-by-step guide, including shortcut keys and exact methods. Open Photoshop, shortcut, Ctrl and N for Windows or Command and N for Mac. Set the dimensions for your GIF, like 1080 by 1080 pixels for social media or 1920 by 1080 for widescreen. Choose a transparent background. Set frame rate, which is optional. Go to Window, then Timeline to open the animation timeline. Set your frame rate by clicking the Timeline menu and selecting Set Timeline Frame Rate. A common frame rate is 24 frames per second. Step 2. Design your frames layers. Create each motion graphic element on separate layers. Shortcut for new layer, Ctrl plus Shift plus N, CMD plus Shift plus N. Add shapes, text or graphics using tools like Shape Tool, U-Text Tool. Use effects like gradients, blending options or masks to add visual interest. Layer style, Ctrl plus Alt plus F, CMD plus Option plus F. Add mask, Alt plus click layer mask, Option plus click layer mask. Go to Window, then Timeline to create an animation. Choose Create Frame Animation if it's not already selected. Click the drop-down menu in the Timeline panel and select Create Frame Animation. Convert layers into frames. Click the Timeline menu, then select Make Frames from Layers. Adjust the frame duration by clicking the time value below each frame. For instance, 0 seconds, and choose a delay like 0.2 seconds. To reorder frames, simply drag them left or right in the timeline to change the sequence. To add motion, such as opacity or position changes, create a duplicate of a frame by pressing Ctrl plus J or CMD plus J. Move or transform elements for motion using the Move tool by pressing V, or transform with Ctrl plus T or CMD plus T. Convert to video timeline by clicking the Convert to Video Timeline button in the Timeline panel. To add keyframes for animations like position, opacity, or style, open the Layer drop-down in the timeline. Click the stopwatch icon for the property you want to animate, for example, position or opacity. Move the playhead to a new time and adjust the property to create a keyframe. Play the animation by clicking the play button in the timeline panel. For continuous preview, set the playback option to Forever, which is located below the timeline. Export for web by navigating to File, then Export, and selecting Save for Web, Legacy. The shortcut for this is Alt plus Shift plus Ctrl plus S, or Option plus Shift plus CMD plus S. In the GIF settings, choose GIF in the preset drop-down. Ensure the looping options are set to forever. Adjust the quality and size as needed to balance file size and appearance. Finally, click Save and name your file. Tips for better motion graphics GIFs. Use smart objects to preserve quality when transforming layers. Optimize the number of frames to keep the GIF file size manageable. Experiment with easing functions to make animations smoother. By following this guide, you can create high-quality motion graphics, GIFs, in Photoshop. Next, we have 10 advanced tips for creating outstanding motion designs in Photoshop. 1. Use smart objects for flexibility. Convert layers to smart objects. This allows non-destructive editing and preserves quality when scaling, rotating, or animating. How to do it? Right-click on a layer and select Convert to Smart Object. This also enables complex animations such as looping a single object multiple times without editing the original. 2. Work with layer masks for smooth transitions. Use layer masks to reveal or hide parts of a layer over time, creating smooth fade-ins, wipe effects, or other transitions. How to do it? Add a mask to a layer. Alt plus click layer mask, and animate it using the brush tool B or gradients G. 3. Leverage easing for natural movement. Instead of abrupt linear animations, use easing to make movements more realistic. How to do it. In the video timeline, adjust the keyframes by dragging them closer or further apart to simulate acceleration or deceleration. 4. Animate opacity for dynamic effects. Use opacity changes to make elements fade in or out. How to do it. Select the layer. In the video timeline, click the opacity stopwatch. Create keyframes for starting and ending opacity, for example 0% to 100%. 5. Add glow and lighting effects to add depth and visual interest. Use glows, shadows, or lighting effects. How to do it. Apply layer styles, Ctrl plus Alt plus F, CMD plus Option plus F, like outer glow, inner shadow, or gradient overlay. Animate these effects over time in the video timeline. 6. Use shape layers for clean graphics. Create motion designs with vector-based shape layers for sharp, scalable elements. How to do it. Use the Shape tool, U, to create rectangles, ellipses, or custom paths. Animate their position, size, or color. 7. Color code layers for organization. In complex projects, color code layers to stay organized and avoid confusion. How to do it. Right-click a layer and select layer color. For example, red for text layers, green for graphics. 8. Utilize gradients for movement. Create dynamic effects by animating gradients for backgrounds or masks. How to do it. Use the Gradient tool, G. Animate the position or angle of the gradient in the timeline. 9. Pre-compose repeated animations. If you're using the same animation multiple times, group layers and convert them to a smart object to keep your workflow efficient. How to do it. Select layers, right-click, and choose Convert to Smart Object. Duplicate and reposition the smart object for repeated animations. 10. Optimize for file size. GIFs can get large quickly, so optimize your file size without losing quality. How to do it. Reduce the number of frames. Use fewer frames for less complex motion. Lower the colors. When exporting, reduce the number of colors in Save for Web Legacy. Crop to fit content. Use the Crop tool, C, to eliminate unused canvas space. Bonus, experiment with blend modes. Shift plus, Alt plus plus, or Shift plus, Option plus plus, or can add unique effects to overlapping layers. Try multiply, screen, or overlay for creative designs. These tips will help you create polished, professional motion graphics in Photoshop. Here is the end of the video. Let me know if you need help with specific animations or effects.